Selling your Halifax home right now in this market can be a pretty daunting task. We know that the Halifax market is crazy hot right now, so it should be a pretty simple and straightforward process, but I'm here to break down the 6 steps of selling your home here in the Halifax area so that you don't get too overwhelmed. Hi everyone, it's Richard Payne here from Halifax Homes and Lifestyles at eXp Realty, and I'm going to break down for you the 6 key steps that you need to keep in mind when you're thinking of getting your home ready for the market and then going through the whole process of actually selling your home right now, because our market is incredibly hot. So what that means is that we need to keep you on a nice, steady, even path so that you don't get overwhelmed and we get the result that you're looking for. So let's get straight into step number 1. Step number 1 is all about preparing the house, getting it ready for the market. Yes, we know that right now the market is basically on fire here in Halifax. So, it's going to potentially be a little bit easier. But here's the thing. Like anything in life, when you're getting ready to sell something, you have to prepare it for the best possible price that you're going to get. That means we need to go through the house and we've got to look at decluttering, potentially touching up anything, doing any repainting, and you know what? If the money actually allows, if we have a little bit of spare excess cash, it would not hurt the property sometimes to get a little bit of freshening and a little bit of updating. Does that mean we're going to take a little bit longer to get on the market? Possibly, but our market is just so hot right now that delaying 2-3 weeks so we can get some of these little things fixed is going to actually net you a much better price at the end, because the house looks amazing. It's going to be fresh, it's going to be clean, and there's none of those little small things that buyers can sometimes look at and then they start thinking, well, if these little things are going on, what else is there? So that's step number 1. Step number 2 in the process is all about marketing. It's all about getting the professional photography, any exterior drone, any internal kind of movie style footage that we want to give a flow to the property. So that's when we're going to make sure that the property stands out. Now, yes, we've got to also look at what the weather's doing, because we want to make sure that your property is going to look the absolute best on those first few images, because those are the ones that are going to catch the eyes of the actual potential buyers that are out there. So we've got to stand apart from the competition, and that's why you've got to get the professionals in. Now, yes, we're also going to look at the inside because we've done a bit of preparation work. We want to make sure that there's decluttering and therefore potentially any staging. Now, yes, we know staging is going to cost us a little bit of money, but especially if you've already made that decision to move and the house is vacant, 100% we've got to do some staging inside of the house, because it's about getting people to fall in love with how somebody lives in that house. Where does the furniture go? You'd be amazed at how many people can't visualize that as much as you'd think. So that's number 2, market the property. So now we're on to step number 3, and step 3 is all about the viewings and getting the offers. Now, here's what happens in a really hot market. You want to make sure that there's enough time for all of those potential buyers to get in, to take a look at the property, fall in love, realize that there's a lot of other people who are looking at the property, remember that there's not a lot of houses for sale, and therefore start making offers. Now, what we've got to do is make sure that we've basically got the house ready for all of the viewings. That unfortunately is going to mean that we're probably going to kick you out of the house for a few days, because it is just so much easier. Trust me, you do not want your realtor giving you a call, sending you an email, giving you a text every single time there's a viewing. So let's make things easy. Let's go to the relatives, let's go away for a long weekend, and let's find that perfect space so that the buyers can just go and enjoy the property, fall in love, and then make an offer. So when the offers come in, that's when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, and we've got to start looking at the best offer, not just in terms of the price, but also in terms of the actual conditions and therefore the closing date. Because offers are not just, yes, it's great to have the highest price possible, but what if that means that they've got all of the conditions and they're like 4 weeks to get through those conditions, and the closing date is July and it's November? Like, that's a huge long time. So don't just look at the price, look at the terms and conditions, look at the closing dates as well. All right, now we're at step number 4. Now, step number 4 is condition time. So we know that even though people are moving from Ontario to Nova Scotia, and Ontario, it's a little bit of that situation like the wild, wild west, where it's like all cash, no conditions, close in 30 days, and literally you sign the offer and the house is sold. Not necessarily the case here in the Halifax area. We are still getting conditions of financing, house inspection, lawyer review of the contract, and then if you're on a drilled well and septic, you're going to have water quality, water quantity, as well as a septic inspection. So that's the phase that we now know as the conditional phase. Can be somewhere between about 5 to 8 business days, something like that. It really does depend what's got to be done. Quality tests on water right now are taking at least 9 business days. So don't be worried, don't be surprised when you see those kind of conditions coming through and they're asking for 7, 8, 9 business days. It's just that the agent on the other side is being realistic. So instead of promising you that we're going to get through conditions in 4 business days, and guess what happens? 4th business day, I'm asking for an extension for another 4 business days because my water quality test didn't come back. So that's one of those things that we just get into that phase, and that's where communication is at the utmost, because you've got your offer accepted, you're all excited, it's time to move on, it's time to look forward to a different house, it's time to start planning a new future, but you've got these conditions to go through. So we're always in touch with the agents on the other side to make sure that they're keeping us appraised of everything that's going on. If they had an inspection, what actually happened? I don't want to wait for the report. I don't want to wait for someone to come back and say we're going to amend the agreement because of something that came up in the inspection. If you had the inspection on Thursday, tell me what's going on Thursday. So those are some of the key things that we want to know so that we can keep this nice and smooth, make it simple and make it straightforward. Okay, number 5. This is what we call the calm after the storm, because we've been preparing the house, we've done a ton of marketing, we've had viewers, we've done offers, we've gone through conditions. So now we're at the stage where everybody takes a little bit of breath. But this is the key stage where it's like, okay, relax, but don't relax too much, because you've got to start packing, we've got to start planning moving, we've got to turn off Nova Scotia Power, we've got to shut down internet, we've got to arrange for oil top-ups, we've got propane tanks, there's a whole range of things that we've got to get sorted as well. So that's the calm after the storm. A little bit of calm, still stuff to do as we get towards closing day. Okay, we are here. Number 6, the final particular point of the process of selling your house, and it's closing day. So what happens on closing day? Well, closing day, the first thing that's going to happen is that the buyers are going to do what we call a pre-close inspection. Now, that's not a full-blown inspection. Again, we're not turning up there with the home inspector. What they're doing is they're actually coming through for around about 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and we've just got to make sure that everything that is left behind in the house does actually work. It's in a clean and presentable condition. So we're going to be talking to you at least the day before to say, what's the plan? Can we come through? I actually like to do a walkthrough the night before just to make sure, preferably actually the morning before, if the house is clean and ready to go, because we want to make sure that closing day comes smooth, easy, no hiccups. We don't want the buyers coming back saying, well, guess what? There's all these problems and this has got to get done and that's got to get done. And it just turns into a little bit of a firefighting day where we're just trying to put out fires because the buyers have found things that they're not happy with. So if we can get ahead of that by a day, we can actually come through and we can actually walk through the house with you, hoping that obviously all the boxes are done, everything's been packed, and all it is literally time to kind of clean the countertops, clean the sink, clean the kitchen, the cupboards, the drawers, the fridge, the oven, all of these things so that it's nice and presentable. Because don't forget, this is going to be a new home for somebody. So when they're moving in there, we want them to have the best experience possible. We want to show the house off so that the first thing they walk in the house is, oh my God, I love this place. Look at the space, look how clean it is, and they can just move in and start. So that's closing day. Usually takes around about 3 to 4 hours for the lawyers to do their things, and then that's it. Basically, you've already given the keys away, so the lawyer will give you a call and everything closes. So those are the 6 steps to actually going through the different process to sell your Halifax home. So now you know the 6 steps. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with us. The contact details are all below, because here at the Halifax Homes and Lifestyles team, we want to make sure that all of your process, whether you're buying, selling, or investing, is nice and smooth. So give us a call, let's have a conversation, and let's see what we can do for you.